Good evening, everybody. Good evening, everybody. We are excited to have this opportunity to be with you tonight. We're excited to have an opportunity to showcase not just Westside kids, but Roanoke kids. When these kids, as Principal Williams talked about briefly, when these kids went to Texas, they just didn't go representing Westside. They went representing their households, their families, their stories, where they came from, their struggles, but also this city. And when people saw them in Texas, when they went to the Tom Joyner Morning Show, people began to say, Roanoke? I heard about Roanoke. When they went to Dallas, people said, Roanoke? I heard of Roanoke. When they spoke so eloquently at Wiley College in front of the great debaters, people said, Roanoke, Virginia. What we began to understand is that these kids put an entire city on their back. They just didn't act like they had sense, they showed that they had sense. A lot of times we tell our kids, you need to act like you got some home training. No, they displayed what kind of homes they came from. They displayed the kind of high expectation that has been set by the principal and the staff there at Westside Elementary. And beyond their ability to speak, beyond their ability to move audiences, beyond the opportunity for most of them to fly for the very first time a couple Sundays ago and go to Wiley College and be amongst great debaters, I'm most proud of the fact that the students you see behind me are A.B. honor roll students. The thing that impresses me most is that they're well-rounded. They sacrifice their own lunchtime and their own recess time to practice debate or to practice step. We don't do it after school. They say, Mr. May, we'll sacrifice our 15 minutes of recess that we only get in the day, and we'll eat lunch. But that 30 minutes that we would normally be in the lunchroom with our counterparts, we want to practice. We want to become better. We want to go places. We want to do some things. So our kids are not just thinking and talking about college. They're expecting to go to college and just deciding where that is for them in a few years. I think that's a beautiful thing. I think that's a real beautiful thing. And they did such an outstanding job. Most people don't know this, but they did such an outstanding job in Texas representing the city, representing those God-given talents that they've been given, to the point that Harvard University has said, we're coming to Houston and we want your kids there. Harvard University, Roanoke City Schools. Harvard University, Roanoke City Schools. So they have an opportunity to open for a debate that Harvard is going to have with Wiley. They have an opportunity to open up the debate, and we just heard that the Houston area schools are interested in implementing debate within their elementary schools. So they're calling on the city of Roanoke saying, whatever you're doing, we want to keep it up. We want to do it down here. And the thing that really excites me is when I got to Westside, I saw somebody that looked like me. I got to Westside, and even though they thought they handed Mr. Williams a bomb, it blew up in their face. And I'm so glad that wherever I go, I see people who saw these kids on HLN News or who saw the test scores or the full accreditation say, Mr. Williams is the principal over at that school, right? Not only am I proud to say that he's an alpha, you know, there's a couple of Kappas and Q's in the building, and we remember him, you know, we're in the church. But I'm proud to say that he represents what we all wanted. He's representing all of us when he goes into board meetings or when he talks to the staff. And quiet as it's kept, a lot of people aren't happy about what's happening at Westside. Let's just keep it real. But I'm so glad that in spite of all that, we're working under leadership who believes in the kids and that keeps everything we do centered and focused on their education and in their future. So we ought to give Mr. Williams a hand, definitely, for those things. So without further ado, tonight we're going to present to you several pieces that the debate team does. They talked about issues like merit-based pay for the teachers, SOL testing, should we have in the school or shouldn't we? They're talking about bilingual education and why it's so necessary to have it within the public school system. And we usually have students that give us a little boost in our program by doing some quotes. So we have several students tonight that are going to begin things off with some quotes. And if you look up here in their laps, you just see hands. We don't believe in paper. You have to memorize, you have to understand, you have to articulate, and you have to present what you put here in a special way. So without further ado, we're going to have those giving our quotes come and show you exactly what we're talking about. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, for the Westside Debaters.
Education makes people easy to lead, but difficult to drive. Easy to govern, but impossible to enslave.
Those who educate children well are more to be honored than parents, for these only gave life. Those the art of living well, Aristotle.
It is in fact a part of the function of our education to help us escape, not from our own time, for we are bound by, but the intellectual and emotional limitations of our own time. T.S. Eliot.
Are we teaching for confinement and containment, or are we teaching for empowerment and transformation? Enid Lee.
Ladies and gentlemen, those are just the several pieces of quotes that these young people not only had to read, but they had to put in their hearts, put in their minds, and then present it in their own way. One of which is a new member of our team, Ms. Kellison Whiting. She's a new member of our team here. She was a little nervous, but I could not tell by her performance tonight. Speaking of new members, we have one more new member coming. Mr. Lionel and Ms. Jennifer Alvarez do a particular piece in which they talk about the importance of bilingual education within public schools. Did I mention they do their own research? They do their own fact-finding interviews, and they're 10 and 11 years old. I just figured I'd tell you that again. Ladies and gentlemen, Jennifer and Lionel on bilingual education.
La educación bilingüe responde a las necesidades únicas de los estudiantes del idioma inglés. La educación bilingüe es una oportunidad de igualdad en la educación. Experiencia ha demostrado que bien disfrazados y bien implementados, programas escolares bilingües pueden hacer una diferencia crítica para los estudiantes del idioma inglés. Gracias. Bilingual education addresses the unique needs of English language learners. Bilingual education is an equal education opportunity. Experience has shown how well disguised and well implemented bilingual school programs can make a critical difference for ELL students. Bilingual education is the only way these children will have an equal chance to succeed. Thank you.
La educación bilingüe es un ejemplo clásico de un experimento que se inició con la mejor de las intenciones humanitarias, pero se ha convertido en algo terriblemente equivocado. En la práctica, muchos programas se hizo más que ver con la enseñanza de la lengua nativa de la familia que con los niños la enseñanza en inglés en 3 años. Debemos acoger a los niños inmigrantes en nuestra sociedad, dándoles la mejor oportunidad para la inclusión. Gracias. Bilingual education is a classic example of an experiment that was begun with the best of the humanitarian intentions, but has turned out to be terribly wrong. In practice, many bilingual programs became more concerned with teaching in the native language and maintaining the ethnic culture of the family than with teaching children English in 3 years. We should welcome immigrant children in our society, giving them the very best educational opportunity for inclusion. Thank you.